I'll repeat the question. Have you ever been involved in any way with the death of another human being?
Your Honor, I object. This question is unduly prejudicial and the prosecution is well aware of it.
Sidebar. The jury is dismissed. Bailiff, please escort Mrs. Spencer to her seat.
That little stunt of yours has caused my client irreparable damage, and I don't appreciate it.
I was just raising the issue of Mrs. Spencer's credibility, Your Honor.
Let me go on record with this. The court will not be put in the position of having to declare a mistrial. Do you understand? Will you please bring the jury back and have Mrs. Spencer retake the stand? Thank you. Counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will repeat the question. Have you ever been involved in any way with the death of another human being?
Yes.
You were, in fact, responsible for the death of David Hamilton, weren't you?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. Mrs. Spencer was considered a youthful offender, and those records are sealed.
I'd respond by saying that story was covered by the press and is therefore a matter of public record.
Objection overruled. You may proceed.
And isn't it also true that you are responsible for the death of Robert Jackson?
Yes.
You did, in fact, shoot him in the back.
Yes, but Yes.
No further questions.
Redirect.
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Oh, yes. Sir, would you please tell this court the circumstances surrounding the death of David Hamilton?
It was an accident. We argued and I pushed him and he fell.
How old were you?
15.
Were you in love with him?
I believe that I was at the time.
And how old was he?
Twice my age, I don't know, in his 30s. He was a friend of my stepfather's.
Now, during this period of time when you were in love with this man, is it true that he was obsessed with your mother and that he used you to get to her?
Yes, that's true.
And this argument between you and David Hamilton, it began when you learned this.
Yes.
Is it also true that this event was so traumatic that you blocked it from your memory?
Yeah, I did.
Now, when your memory returned, did you admit your guilt and then were you sentenced to no less than 6 months probation by a juvenile court?
Yes.
And when your probation ended, your records were sealed permanently?
They were.
Your Honor, I would like permission to remind this jury that previous acts by this defendant have no relevance on facts in evidence in this case.
Request granted.
Thank you. Now, for the record, Mrs. Spencer, what happened that night a man was killed in your home?
He was an armed intruder. He broke into the house and he started shooting.
And what was he doing that moment you killed him?
He was pointing a gun at my husband's back.
And were your son and infant daughter in the home?
Yes, my daughter was upstairs. My son was in the basement. His father sent him down there when the shooting started.
Now, your actions during this evening were deemed justifiable by the police. No charges were filed. In fact, this was not considered a crime, was it?
The people are willing to accept these two incidents contained extenuating circumstances, but that does not alter the fact that Mrs. Spencer killed before.
Your Honor!
The prosecutor's comments will be stricken from the record. The jury is hereby instructed to disregard them. Shame on you, Miss Jensen.
I apologize for the interruption, Mrs. Spencer. In either one of these incidents, did you hesitate to tell the authorities what happened?
No, I didn't.
Okay, just one more question, Mrs. Spencer. If you were put in the same situation again, would you change your actions?
The first incident was an accident. And the second incident, I regret having taken a life. But if someone was threatening my husband or my child like that again, I would do anything to defend them.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No further questions, Your Honor. Your Honor, defense rests.
Thank you, Mrs. Spencer. You may step down. Court will be adjourned until tomorrow morning, at which time we will begin closing arguments.
All right.
Shame on you.
You took quite a gamble. Either you're desperate or you're quite a genius.
Well, we'll find out soon enough, won't we?
How do you think it went?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic. You made a very good witness. And if those 12 people in that box, they heard that, then we're okay. If, on the other hand, all they heard was a woman admit that she'd murder again if she was provoked, then they might just figure, well, she's done it twice, she'll do it again.
Well, thank you, Counselor. That's encouraging.
Good job, son. Brilliantly done.
Laura did all the work.
I was watching the jury. They were with you every step of the way.
Really? I hope you're right. They seem so impassive. What happens now?
Now we get out the back way to avoid the press.
No, I don't think so. Then they're just going to think that I'm dodging them.
You sure?
I don't think I have a choice. Let's just do it.
All right.
You murdered twice before.
First murder really an accident or was
No
a crime of
comment.
passion?
You said you would kill again. No comment. Stop you. Get her home fast. If the rent isn't already on your doorstep, they will be soon.
Look, we have to have this in the case.
You must have been confident the jury.
How'd you know where to find me?
No, I called your place. And when you didn't answer, I went to the foundation. And then I realized where you'd be. What's this you're writing?
Memoirs. Confession. It's my closing argument, Edward, and this is what I have so far. Ought to be pretty compelling, don't you think?
Justice, if you
I've let everyone down, Edward.
That's not true. You were flawless in here today. Now all you have to do is just convince that jury that Laura is innocent.
Yep, that's all I've got to do.
You are up to the task. Persuasion is your strong suit, just like it was your father's. Now you both share the gift of oratory. You weave spells.
If I really am like my father, then there's only one thing for me to do, and that is to look that jury in the eye and tell them who killed Damian Smith.
Please don't tell me that you're serious.
How can I live with myself if I don't tell the truth, Edward?
No. Self-sacrifice is not the answer, Justice.
So it's better to sacrifice Laura Spencer for something she didn't do, for a crime that I committed?
Now, you've come this far, son. Don't fold now.
You know what, Edward? I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. And I've been thinking about Granny May and how grateful I am that she is not around to see this. And then suddenly it occurred to me that she can see it. I feel her presence, and she is encouraging me to tell the truth.
No. That is your own conscience, Justice. Don't put that on Mary May. She wants you out in the world, not locked up in some jail cell. She wants you to carry on your father's good name and the Ward House tradition.
How can I do that? How can I even look at myself in the mirror and have any respect for the man that looks back at me? I don't even know who that man is anymore.
All right, I'll tell you. You're a Quartermain. Now act like it. Tomorrow morning, you have the opportunity to free Laura, as well as yourself. Don't throw it away. I beg you, Justice. Take it.
Closing arguments, Counselor.
I am, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make a brief statement. When I'm through, you can go back to your lives with my sincerest apologies for wasting so much of your time. I can say with unequivocal certainty that Laura Spencer did not kill Damian Smith. I can say this because I know who did. It was me.
What? Justice Ward, you're a dead man!
Order! Remand Councilman Ward into custody and release the defendant.
Your Honor, this man is sick. He does not know what he is.
Order, please!
He could possibly be done.
Everyone sit down. Order.